Hey butterflies, hey butterflies, welcome back to Alchemy Doctress with me, Doctress Monica Nicole. So we are back with another conversation. I am in the airport, and airports are like portals. Um, any type of mode of transportation is like a portal. And so I like to, you know, get some type of channeling done in the portal. And as I was sitting over at the gate, um, I was reflecting on how with this season is literally about putting the energy back into ourselves, putting the energy back into ourselves. The things that you spent so much time investing in other people, the things that you spent so much time making sure that everyone else was okay, making sure that everyone else had everything that they needed. And then you were left to kind of not really have much left over, or you will be dealing with people who they don't understand reciprocity. So while you are in this space and you're so giving, you're so loving, you're so supportive, you're showing up, you're speaking life, and this person dismisses you, they deny you of you. They deny you of that reciprocal relationship of even just being present, right? And oftentimes, one thing I've come to learn, um, many people, they see others who are like always super helpful, those who are always like giving, doing all this other stuff. A lot of times, many people see those people as weak. So if you were someone who was raised up, with the belief that you show up for people, you treat people how you want to be treated, all of that, you have to realize everyone was not given those lessons. Everyone was not given that same lesson, and oftentimes you find yourself realizing that most of the world is already selfish. They put themselves first. They put themselves first. We see this all the time, everywhere, in the system of the matrix. Okay? And I have to say that because many can say, oh, well, we can do this, we can do that. I'm telling you right now, and the system of the matrix is built off of selfishness. There's a difference between um, being overgiving, empathetic, and literally allowing yourself to be used. Oftentimes, we can find ourselves in a space and we feel like someone is like an energy vampire, or they're taking our energy, or they're doing X, Y, and Z, right? But the harsh reality is that no one can take your energy outside of like an actual, violent, you know, encounter type of thing when it's taken by force. But outside of that, no one can take our energy on. They literally just took what we gave them. And oftentimes we don't realize that we're giving energy that is like, it takes a lot from us and it builds other people. We love that. But many times, people who were raised like that, they were raised to get joy in making other people feel better. And that's a downfall because it then makes that sense of codependency to where we feel like we're responsible for someone else's happiness. And if we feel like we're responsible for someone's happiness, then when they're mad or upset and they start treating us different, we think it's something that we did. And I'm saying this because this was recently brought back up in my own personal reflection and things of that nature from, my most recent connection and all that jazz, right? And I can tell him, all the things that he did or didn't do, whatever the case is, right? But the reality is, I can't complain about the things that I did. I can't complain about how this didn't happen or da 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 da, and you drained me and you took this from me. I can't do that because the reality is 444. I gave that. I gave it because I cared. I gave it because I loved them. And oftentimes we give and we realize we're giving because we want them to give something back to us. a transactional relationship. So whether it is we want them to give us back emotional fulfillment, connection, camaraderie, whatever it is, we did that thing for a reason. And that's why when we feel like someone has used us or drained us, whatever the case is, we feel depleted because we were going in with this emotional, transactional mindset. And oftentimes, this is something that is given or it's built, I won't say built, but we're kind of raised into this, right? Because it's the way you're raised up as a child. Always share what you have. You know, oh, you don't do that, that's mean. Or, oh, do this. But you have to realize certain people are given certain instructions to in reality. So, for example, we hear this a lot how fairy tales, women are given fairy tales, men are given reality. Women are raised up on fairy tales, men are raised up on reality. And so that's why it's hard for us to have healthy relationships because us as women, we start as a disadvantage most times of our expectations of men and our expectations of how they can show up or how they, even show up in themselves and who they are. Society has given us this inflated sense of responsibility of men that they're not. They're not meant to lead over women. They're not meant to be the superior one. It's all a created societal thing. So we fall within this hierarchy. And so if you have a bunch of women and their feminine energy is being misplaced, they won't put it in themselves. And if the feminine don't put the energy in themselves, there is no rise of the divine feminine. Because the true balance is that we're both the leaders. And if anything, the man should listen to the woman in the leadership more. She gave him birth. She carried him. A man don't carry a woman in his womb. Okay? So even intellectually, it doesn't make sense. And that's why we find certain people lack certain emotional understanding, things of that nature. So we have this energy in this world that is so out of whack to where we're giving into situations that are unbalanced. We're giving mentally these expectations of someone being able to show up or be a certain type of way that they could never meet in the first place. They never had it in them in the first place. Now, is this saying like, oh, men are not at all? But what this is saying is understanding energetically how our energy has been being siphoned. The energy of women has been siphoned socially to keep the hierarchy of patriarchal hierarchy going by making us believe falsehood in a totally different world. So what we are fed does not match with reality. And that's why we can hear so often a lot of those fairy tale type connections and relationships, they always fail. In the end, she finds out he was doing X, Y, Z, da da da, because all he was doing was feeding into her world, not the reality of his. Most likely he had a double life. Now, are there healthy relationships out there? Yes, they are. But I'm telling you right now, they're not built off of um, the normal gender roles. The type of relationships that are healthy, that are growing, that are evolving, that are expanding, they have created their own world. They have created their own reality. They don't listen to everyone else. They don't listen and follow what everyone else has going on. They figure out what works for them. And those are the revolutionary relationships. Okay? Those are the type of relationships where I don't need you to feed me motivation or energy because the reality is that most empaths and things of that nature, when we are always totally, pouring our energy out to someone else, we're really giving them what we want someone else to give us. We, people never, get us gifts or show us da da da. So we show up that way for other people because we want that in return. And we were always told, do unto others as you want done unto you. So we have it in our mind that if I am this way with other people, I will receive this back. And that was a lie that we were taught. That was a lie that we were taught. This season is about waking up to that. I know even within like my journey of working on, I was always wondering like, Spirit, why? What is it about like intellectual wise? I'm her, you know, all of like so many areas. But when it came to love, and it was my last connection that put all the pieces together. I had to get triggered so bad in that connection. I had to act totally outside of myself in how I am when I am primarily in my high, you know what I'm saying, my good energy. And I don't deny shadows. I don't teach people to deny their shadows. I don't teach people not to. I teach to follow your flow. If my spirit is saying say something in this moment, I'm going to say it because it's something that maybe that person needs to learn from their actions and what they do in their decision making too. It's not on me to decide how my actions is going to affect you when my spirit is saying act. Okay? So the same thing of those people who hurt us, 1111, it sends us into that spiritual growth and we get into this mode, and either you get into the mode where you become this self-pity, or you get into this mode where you start blaming everyone or the person, or you get into this mode where you evolve and you pull your energy back into yourself. You don't go out looking for another relationship or a new connection. You don't go out making any of these shifts. You literally put all that energy into yourself and continue evolving. I had to realize how I reverted back to an old way. There's nothing wrong with being emotional. There's nothing wrong with wanting to give. There's nothing wrong with wanting to support. But we have to realize that everything that we give, we can't expect anything back in return. So if that person never did anything for you, if you wouldn't do that thing, then don't do it. Only do those things that you would naturally do, even if that person would never give you that same energy back. You get what I'm saying? Only do those things. And you'll notice how you begin to transmute and transform your own personal energy back into yourself. You have to allow yourself the accountability. And this is where we're getting all this going on 100 men versus accountability, 100 women versus accountability. Because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, as a woman, we don't take accountability for how we manage our energy and our time. But a lot of that is because of psychological programming. And that's why I became a hypnotherapist, to help people shift that, to help you have someone there to help support you through this journey and this process of transforming your subconscious to rewrite that programming. And that's why I have my butterfly alchemy coaching program. You can definitely check that out. It is an 8-week coaching program where it is intensive. It includes 2 hypnotherapy sessions. It includes 3 coaching sessions. It includes daily contact with me, communication. It includes weekly homework, support, check-in, and our own personalized plan. Okay, it goes in. It basically, I evolved my old coaching program into a more expansive one that includes the hypnotherapy piece, because that was something that I found with working with people was always the shift of the subconscious and the mindset. And it's the things that subliminals can't help. It's the things that just listening to guided meditations can't help. We need to have that one-to-one to sit there to work through and process what is happening, because when we're listening to all those other things, we're still processing from our own energy. And a lot of those things do not truly take you to that theta state where you need to be at to truly access that part of yourself. And so for anyone who is interested in having support in that coaching to truly shift that mindset to be from a space of what you used to know or how you used to do things or how you used to think about things, holla at me. Apply for my coaching program. Um, and so in this conversation, this season, Learn how to conserve your energy bank. Stop giving your energy out to people because you want to be a good person or that's what you're supposed to do. Who told you that? The system? Someone who was in a poverty mindset, someone who was in a scarcity mindset, someone who was afraid that they wouldn't be accepted if they wasn't a certain way. Hmm? Listen, I don't get embarrassed by my actions. I do what my spirit wants to do. So if I'm a crash out in a situation, I don't regret that. Can I crash out? I will. Yes, I crash out. Yes, I said that. I did that. Sometimes I get mad when I go back and I realize I don't have evidence of my crash out. Where's the evidence? I deleted all the text messages, right? But that's a mindset shift because I used to want to deny that side of myself. We're told to deny our shadow and only embrace the light. But when you do that, you find yourself as more of a victim than someone who is living a balanced reality. Life doesn't work that way. Nature crashes out. What do you think a tornado is? Thunderstorms. When it shocks the trees and all that stuff and they fall over and all that. Even nature has crash outs. The other day I was walking at the resort and I took a video of it actually too. I witnessed two lizards double teaming a worm. I want to see if I got this here. I witnessed two lizards, okay, double teaming a worm. And that worm was fighting back. Do you hear me? That worm was fighting back. And one thing I noticed in that was those lizards were hungry. Those lizards were hungry. Do you think they care about, oh, that worm has a family to get back to and let me do da da da? No, that's not how nature works. That's not how reality works in that standpoint. Now, I'm not saying go out there and hurt, all these people and do X, Y, and Z. It's not that. Y'all, it's about to play. Okay, look, y'all see the worm? So that's the first one that's coming in. Double team, and then come the other one. But as I was watching that, I was like, I see you, nature. I see the message in that. Because many people, they see people with super kind hearts as super giving. You're prey. You are prey. Because that's not the reality of the world. You made yourself so vulnerable that now you can get gods. Toughen up, buttercup. Because you got to realize in this world that we live in, you have some people who are at the bottom, middle, and the top. And it's all about the perspective, the mindset, and how you operate throughout life. And there's people who have these mindsets who broke too, who got money, who broke, who ain't. They're all over. And that's why we have to put that energy into ourselves. And so I thank you all for being here. Ooh, I'm messing myself up to drink my lemonade. Um, I thank you all for being here. May just have opened up and provided some insight into some things um, that you hadn't noticed before. And as always be real, always be true. Don't be afraid to do what your higher self and your spirit team is calling for you to do. Period. Like, comment, share, and subscribe with another woman who you feel like really needs to hear this information. I love y'all. Bye.